this week on a Bubble Chat.
I can't even begin to fathom the terrifying and heartbreaking feelings they must have experienced in that moment.
I just hate that if this is true, they got these kind of monsters around people who, again, get away with stuff.
Get beat real bad in online gaming, and they would send cops to a person's house.
I think it's encouraging to see artists like Alex Noel and Guy being recognized and celebrated for their talent and unique identities.
I want you to pass this on to them that they are what the best of America is about.
I'm going to go to your dad.
May I have an E? May I buy a vowel E? Sure can. There's two. Boop, boop.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bubble Chat. We are absolutely thrilled to have each and every one of you joining us today for yet another epic episode. Before we delve into the juicy details of today's discussion, we want to remind you of something crucial. Hit that subscribe button right now. Subscribing to our podcast ensures that you never miss a single moment of engaging conversations and insightful content.
We're here to provide or create, hopefully, a professional, vibrant, and thought-provoking space where we can dive into some topics and give you our perspectives and not make you laugh, maybe. And hopefully we can engage in some conversations that matter. And we talk about current events and we talk about our insights into this pop culture stuff. Hopefully we have engaging insight into this. Sometimes we have some real high takes. I think I gave some high takes last week. And then we just want to keep you entertained and inspired. Hopefully we keep you entertained. That's the key, entertained. Eve.
So today, I'm sorry, my computer is a little messed up. So today, we have an extra special reason to celebrate. An upcoming federal holiday, Juneteenth, is coming our way, which is June 19th. For those of you who don't know, Juneteenth is a celebration commemorating the emancipation of the enslaved African Americans. It was issued by Major General Gordon Granger, and in 1865, proclaiming freedom for the slaves in Texas. It's a great day, and it's a day that I prefer to celebrate rather than July 14th.
I think you meant the 4th of July.
Huh?
I think you meant the 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July. Mm-hmm.
And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcast. By subscribing, you'll ensure that you never miss an episode of the Bubble Chat, where every word is a burst of insight and every participant is a pioneer of inspiration. Now, with that being said, let's pop some bubble.
Pop, pop. All right. So next up, we have a very tragic situation. We're going to touch on the situation where a Florida neighbor is accused of killing Ajike Owens, saying that she felt threatened not only by the children, but the mother. The incident happened on June 2nd of this year. And basically, our understanding is the children were playing in the open field between apartments. Susan Lawrence had issues with the children, allegedly had issues with the children. She admitted during a police interview that she did call them the N-word and other derogatory terms. She threw a skate, allegedly threw a skate at one of the Ajake's children, a son, and it hit him on his foot. The children notified their mother. The mother went knocking on her door to address the situation with her, and the mother was shot through the door. I mean, there's a lot of issues with this case. I know that right now she has been charged, I believe, with manslaughter and some other charges. I'm trying to figure out why she felt the need to shoot through a door. If your door is closed and someone's just knocking on it, I don't think you have a right to shoot them through the door. That's just my opinion. It's definitely the racist and racial undertones of the situation are clear there, as she's admitted that she was calling them the N-word. I don't know why a hate crime hasn't been attached to those charges. How many of us as mothers, I know I'm a mother, and I've stood up to adults and children alike when it comes to my children in defense of them. It's just a tragic and unfortunate situation. And again, there sentence of I know Florida has the stand your ground law. And it is my opinion that stand your ground laws are just a way to get away with claiming. I think it's anti-blackness. I think they're anti-blackness laws. I'll just say it. That's how I feel. And let me say this: when I was growing up, homeowners without any stand your ground laws could actually defend themselves against others. If there was an intruder, a burglar in your house, and you fought for, you defended your home and your family, and you shot them or injured them, I don't know why you would go to jail. So what is the need for a stand your ground law? What's your guys' thoughts?
Even now, I remain speechless, unable to find the right words to describe the overwhelming sense of sorrow and anguish I feel. The fact that Ajike was shot in front of her own children is beyond devastating. I can't even begin to fathom the terrifying and heartbreaking feelings they must have experienced in that moment. Her death adds her name to the growing list of Black individuals who have lost their lives at the hands of a white predators. I hope I said that right. And this disturbing pattern of violence illustrates a broader issue that demands our attention and urgently calls for a systematic change. Unless we address the underlying issue and take meaningful steps towards transformation, this alarming trend is likely to persist and claim more innocent lives. But I remember watching her mom speak on The View, and you could tell that she was sad. I could tell that she was sad. I could tell that she was still grieving because, she won't ever get to see her mom hug her again. She will never see her mom watch them graduate. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the woman is full of shit. The person who shot the lady, it was just, she lied. There are a lot of lies that she was telling in her story. the white woman, the Lorenz character. She said she had just bought the gun a year ago, but then they found two guns, one gun in the trash can, and a holster. So, you know, she had two guns in the house loaded. So it just seemed like there was that. And then she had her phone on her and she was Googling things. So it seemed like she was using words to set up that BS stand your ground shit that people like to. And I agree with you, Eve, about it's an anti-black law. It gives people free reign to kill people. And like you said, when I was a kid, there was people banging on our door, and we didn't let them in. We didn't think, oh, we need to shoot them through the door. We didn't have a gun, but we didn't think to shoot them through the door either. That wasn't the first thing that popped into my head. I was reading through some more stuff that she had a long history of just being mean to children. And so just a mean woman. And a parent's going to defend their children. And I would do the same thing. And knocking on your door, if you hit my children, yeah, I'm going to go knock on your door. Yeah, I'm going to, you as an adult, throw something and you're allegedly swinging an umbrella at my children. I'm going to go find out why you're swinging an umbrella at my child. And yeah, I'm not going to be knocking on the door gently. But she called the cops saying, oh, they're trying to break in my house and she's trying to kill me. They said they're going to kill me. Like I said, she tried to set it up all these on the 911 conversations. She tried to set it up like she was trying to get away with this bullshit. So, this is bullshit. Again, in all the years that I fought in the military, I was in the military, we went all to those wars, I didn't have to pull the trigger, and I was always afraid that I would have to pull the trigger. I have never thought all these people now are so eager to pull the trigger. And this just goes to this gun culture that we have in this country, that people are so eager to, we don't think about the consequences when it comes to pulling the trigger, what it's going to do, what it's going to go through. I just blows my mind. I don't understand it. There's so many layers I could just don't understand. I'm just gonna, I feel for the family. I'm at loss. I could go on, but I'm rambling now, so I'm not making any coherent thoughts.
May I add something? Also, other neighbors in the community have come forward to say that the shooter, the murderer, had a history of harassing the kids playing in the field between the apartments. There are some claims, she was making a claim that it's her property. I don't know that to be true. But this kids being neighborhood kids playing, having a good time, she felt, other neighbors have said that she allegedly felt the need to harass the kids, and she had a history of using derogatory terms. So, and that's what others in the community are saying. When I look at her picture, and I have to share this because this is an honest moment. She reminds me of some of my in-laws. Particularly one in-law who took great pride in telling her grandchildren, teaching her grandchildren how to use the N-word. So some people are, close to home.
Thoughts, Mom?
It's just unbelievable how people get away with stuff and how it's been happening this forever and nobody's afraid of consequences. And I think she should have got the death penalty.
Yeah. Well, our heartfelt condolences go out to the family of Ajike Owens during this difficult time. We mourn the loss of a life cut short and express our deepest sympathy to those close to her. In remembrance of AJ and to support the call for justice, we want to highlight the hashtag Justice for Ajike Owens. This important movement seeks to raise awareness, demand accountability, and work towards ensuring that incidents like these are properly investigated and addressed. You can find more information and support the cause by visiting the link that I'm going to put in the description. Together, we'll be striving for a world where justice is served and tragedies like this are prevented from occurring again. Moving forward, serious allegations have been made against Tenoch Huerta, one of the actors involved in the highly anticipated film Black Panther 2. The accusations of sexual assault have sparked outrage and ignited conversations about the responsibility of individuals within the entertainment industry. And I just want to add that he did deny those allegations. It was announced a few days after those allegations started, and now it's been confirmed that he denied those allegations. Accuser and saxophonist Maria Elena Rios took to Twitter revealing the allegations regarding Tenoch Huerta as a sexual predator. In a loose translation of Rios' tweet, she stated, "When I left their section, I made it very clear that I protect the violator and sexual predator from Tenoch Huerta." Rios has not specified the details of the incident involving Huerta's sexual assault, but she unambiguously accuses him of this deplorable act. In response to the initial post, a fan brazenly asked if Huerta had sexually assaulted her, while she confirmed that he had and that she is not the only woman to have experienced such horrors. I would love to hear your thoughts on this disturbing sexual assault allegation. What are your opinions and reactions regarding the allegations that made against Tenoch Huerta?
I mean, so we're clear here. Sexual assault can be grabbing someone inappropriately, and it can also run a gamut of forced penetration. I do not know specifically what her allegations are. I'm sorry to hear of any allegations of that nature. I'm a survivor of sexual assault, and I don't wish that on anybody. As far as outside of Black Panther 2, which was a great movie, I'm not very familiar with that actor. And I just don't know. But it's always, whenever you hear the allegation, for me, I choose to believe the victim, that she experienced something. I do understand that sometimes there are false allegations. I also understand there's also miscommunication where sometimes people think they have a green light for something and they really don't. As the years have gone on, I think those boundaries have become clearer and clearer. So I'm not making excuses for anybody. I don't know if it's true or false. I just tend to believe the victims, and I wish her healing and her courage for coming forward if her allegations are true.
Uncle Ruben.
So there's more to this story, I guess. They were dating, I guess. They were in they were in a relationship, and they were both part of a group called Prieto, and I guess they worked together as a collective to fight racism or discrimination in Hollywood against actors and stuff like that. Now, that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to throw that out there, that's part of it. So she's upset about that group using a podcast. There's a bunch of tweets that were released. This was the first tweet that was released, was about the group using a podcast that was released from her and them not paying her. And then that group for protecting a sexual predator in Tenoch Huerta. Then that's when she said that she was assaulted by him. And then they were asked why she didn't come forward. And she said, I will come forward. It took me time to come forward in my own time, allegedly. And that's the full. I went in and researched more of the story. So, I tend to believe her in her saying that he was sexual, not necessarily just sexually abused, but power abuser and a manipulator and those things. I read the tweet, I read it in Spanish as well, because I can read some Spanish. So I did read her tweet in Spanish and English. So she did come forward, and I read both. So I do tend to believe that she's not just talking about sexual assault, but I think she's talking about abuse in general and sexual abuse, but abuse overall. So I tend to believe her, but she's mad and because the group is protecting him as well. So that's where this came out at, that this Prieto group is protecting Tenoch Huerta and not condemning him in this situation as well, protecting, and then she's come out against the group as well, and she left the sect. And so I wish her healing and finding that peace and healing, and hopefully she can move past her situation.
Mom?
I wish her healing as well, and I just hate that if this is true, they got these kind of monsters around people who, again, get away with stuff. So I just hope that justice is done, and I hope she will heal from it.
I don't have much to say about it, other than I just wish her healing, and I of course wish Headache at the best. That's my 2 cents. Mom, I think you got the next story.
I'm sorry. Nicki Minaj targeted in false abuse claims. That one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We now turn our attention to recent incident involving renowned artist Nicki Minaj. According to an article published by the New York Post, Nicki Minaj fell victim to a distressing event known as swatting. In this unfortunate incident, individuals made false emergency calls claiming that Nicki Minaj's 2-year-old son was being subjected to abuse. Responding to these alarming reports, law enforcement authorities swiftly arrived at her Los Angeles home, prepared for potentially dangerous situation. TMZ reported that sheriff's deputies arrived at Nicki's residence around 6 p.m. on Monday. Following conversations with Nicki, her husband Kenneth Petty, and observing their nearly 3-year-old child, it was concluded that no abuse took place and everything was found to be in order.
Swatting is wild. There's that documentary on that episode on Netflix. I forgot the show what it was, but there was this guy who's in prison now who was a gamer, and swatting became real big in the gaming community because these guys would get beat real bad in online gaming, and they would send cops to a person's house. Well, this guy got a rush from sending people to this person's house, people's houses, that he would do it so regularly. But people don't think about the cost of sending police and SWAT teams and all that to people's houses and what could potentially happen, what's going on if they make up some crazy story, what the potential outcome could be, what could cause, what somebody could lose their life, or the thousands of dollars, the thousands on thousands of dollars that are lost for putting those people to bring them in. You know, Nicki Minaj could have been injured. The husband could have been injured. The baby could have been injured. But yeah, that guy's in jail for doing it because he did it so often. He's in federal prison for doing this. And these people are still doing it to this day. This was big in 2012. I can't believe this is still going on. And I can't believe they knew where Nicki Minaj lived to be able to do that, to be able to get to her house and be able to do that.
Any?
I mean, you know, I watched the show with my eye candy. I just want to let you guys know that I was a little bit turned on when he talked about reading Spanish and all. My eye candy bilingual. But anyhow, I think it's unfortunate that people have too much time on their hands. And when I say too much time on their hands, that they're doing something to hurt somebody else unnecessarily, that they would call with bogus allegations of child abuse when there's so many kids out in the world who are actually getting abused, and no one is making the call or intervening to make their lives better. So I just think it's very unfortunate. It happened to Nicki Minaj and her family, but I am happy. But I don't know her. I do like her. You know, I do like her rapping. I think she's a gorgeous woman. She seems to be what she portrays online to be a very dedicated and loving mother. So I hope her son continues to be safe and happy and healthy in the lap of luxury. And that's about my 2 cents.
I also have 0 cents on this one.
All right, I guess moving on to, since Joanne has nothing to add, moving on to our next topic. My knee is hurting, but that's not the next topic.
You need a
Our
body
next topic
massage.
shines. Was that?
You need a
What'd you
body
say?
massage.
Yeah, maybe, but only
Okay.
my knee. Only my knee.
Is it okay?
Just the knee.
Just the knee. We
Mm.
better stop before Jawan cuts. He gonna edit all this out anyway.
What?
Our next topic shines a light on a significant moment in the entertainment industry, according to an article. Sorry. According to an article on
He's
the
thinking about
Hollywood
that body
Reporter.
massage. He all tongue tied.
I see. Alex Newell, an exceptionally talented actor, and J. Harrison Gee have made history as the first openly non-binary performers to receive Tony Awards. This remarkable achievement marks a monumental step towards greater representation and inclusivity in theater. Alex Newell's talent and bravery in embracing their okay. Alex and Jay Harrison's talent and bravery in embracing their identity or send a powerful message of acceptance and celebration of diversity. During Newell's speech, they shared that the Tony win was a lifelong dream come true. They extended a heartfelt gratitude to the shocked ensemble crew and creative team, as well as their mother, for loving them unconditionally and teaching them the essence of strength. While accepting their honor for lead actor in a musical, Gee took to the stage and expressed the profound influence of their mother. They dedicated the award for the trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming community, acknowledging their contributions and celebrating their unique journeys. Bubble Poppers would like to hear your thoughts on this amazing achievement for Alex Newell and G. or Jay Harrison Gee. First off, I'd like to apologize for using the wrong
Pronoun?
the wrong pronouns and messing that whole thing up. I apologize immensely. So that was my bad on reading that. I really did get confused. So my mistake on that. So I'm not. So my mistake on that. Not, I was making mistakes reading it because I was confused, but that's my mistake. So, but I'm happy for them that they received their awards.
Sorry. I think it's encouraging to see artists like Alex Newell and Gee being recognized and celebrated for their talent and unique identities. And I think their success and the acknowledgement of the trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming community signals a shift towards greater representation and acceptance. I think overall, we're seeing a growth. We're seeing a growth of the inclusion of the LGBTQ plus community and diversity in award ceremonies. And yeah, that's my 2 cents. Any, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna have, because I want to be authentic, so I'm gonna just have 0 cents on this one. I will say that I'm all for inclusivity, but I'm very familiar with the industry, and maybe there hasn't been an acknowledgement, but I always thought that they have been included. You know what I mean? In the industry, they've always been there in the industry, but maybe they haven't been able to vocalize who they truly are. So for that, I applaud that they're able to come forward and really talk publicly about who they are and what it means to be non-binary or queer, lesbian, gay, transgender, transsexual, all the alphabet. I think people should be able to live authentically, and I'm all for inclusiveness. But I just have to be honest. I just always thought, they've been involved.
Yeah, Mom.
I don't have anything to say about it.
I'm happy for them. We used to call it androgyny, right? Because I'm older, so we used to refer to it. Candy, I need you to come get your dog.
That dog is bad. That dog is horrible.
This dog is horrible. Girl, you was not a loud dog. She acts like a baby, like she needs to be by somebody all the time. You all hear her tail hitting stuff?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was footsteps.
You thought it was who?
Her footsteps.
Is that too? She got big feet. Are you alone, Ivy? We're doing a podcast. We're talking about inclusivity. Yes. Pit bulls need love too. I did say pit bulls, right?
Yeah.
You said pit balls, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking about you, and then so things are just mixing up.
I think Jawan's about to fire us all.
Such a dirty old lady.
Jawan's about to fire both of us. He's like, these two are unprofessional over here.
We always unprofessional. I don't even know why anybody said anything about being professional. Who's being professional? Ain't nobody got time to be professional.
I think Shay, it's your turn, Shay.
Go for it, Shay. It's your birthday. It's really not, but
As we continue to embrace and celebrate Pride Month, we shift our focus to honor an inspirational figure who has made a tremendous impact both in and out of the media industry, Robin Roberts.
Robin Roberts is a highly respected journalist and television personality who has not only shared her incredible talent with audiences around the world, but she has also become a strong advocate for the LGBTQ plus rights and a beacon of hope for that community, and used her platform to amplify the voices of the LGBTQ plus community.
Welcome back to the Bubble Chat. Today's guest is an extraordinary individual who embarked her remarkable journey along with me at Making Waves Academy, which is a local public charter school. From there, she pursued her passion, earning a bachelor's degree in political science and Chicano/Latinx studies from LMU. Throughout her educational journey, she even managed to excel as a paralegal while maintaining her academic commitments. Now on the verge of completing her final year as a law student this fall at UC Davis School of Law. Please welcome to the show the incredible Brenda Quintanilla. Hello, Brenda. Welcome to the show.
Hi, John. Hello. Thank you for having me.
No problem. It's been an honor. We know you've been so busy, but we're just filled with gratitude that you're able to be here with us. We haven't done an interview in a while, so I figure, I've been reaching out to some friends of mine, even to some content creators, even people in the industry, to hopefully do this again. But yeah, here we are. And I think you have the first question.
All right.
And let me just say, I'm honored to be here. So just thank you for reaching out. Like, it truly means a lot for you, Joanne, to have reached out to me and make space for me. So thank you.
No problem.
Yes, girl, take up that space, all the space, and get it going.
Yes, I
Take
love
it
the
up,
energy.
girl. Can you, Brenda, can you share with us about your immigration journey from El Salvador to United States? How did you, and how that experience shaped you and your academic success?
Yeah, definitely. Of course. So I was born in El Salvador, which is a very small country in Central America. And my dad came here when I was, a little girl. I was like 2 years old. And I think ultimately the goal was for the entire family to be united. That took some time because, of immigration policy and financial stuff. But ultimately, my mom, my sisters, and I were able to come in your very stereotypical, traditional, like, immigration journey. It took a lot of buses and walking, and it took relying on community to be able to find shelter when you needed it. And it definitely was, I think, an experience that an 8-year-old should not have to go through. I was 8 years old. And, that's a very young age to kind of take on a journey that way. But I was very lucky to have my older sister with me, and that made a big difference. But being an immigrant and, my entire family, we're all immigrants. We're also like mixed status, which means that some people are US citizens, like my nieces and nephews. Some have some protection, like me. I have DACA, which is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. But then I also have family members who are completely undocumented and have no protection at all. So, kind of coming from that family and that kind of community is really what inspired me to pursue a legal career, because I saw, within my own family and other members of my community how much we lack certain resources and how disproportionately we have access to justice. So I wanted to make sure that I did something about it, even if it was in a small way. So that led me to being interested in the law from a very young age, since like late middle school, I would say. And I just stuck to that trajectory, and did legal things in undergrad. After undergrad, worked as a paralegal, and now I'm in law school, and one more year and I'll be an attorney, which I'm very excited for because it feels like I've really been working towards this, my whole life. But I think that my career is rooted in my identity as an immigrant. It's where everything stems from for me, and protecting my family. So yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to ask you another question to spin off of that, and I do applaud you sharing your mixed status with us. And I just watched a documentary, and I apologize, I can't think of the name of it, but it was showing like about 66 miles of the journey trying to get to the States. Mm-hmm. And the group, I cried, Brenda. Mm-hmm. Mean, my eyes are watering now, thinking about that journey. So when you told me you walked, I had that visual, of something that you went through. But do you think that, as far as your personal journey, do you think that that's made you more empathetic? Because I think in this society, there's a whole lot of people who lack total, I'm not talking about sympathy, I'm talking about total empathy of what it takes as an immigrant, as undocumented, they just have no idea what people go through to have just a small part of the American dream.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's made like every aspect of who I am, being empathetic. I think I'm able to like relate to people on a deeper level because, especially, going into the field of law, like I think there's a lot of attorneys who come from a lot of privilege and don't relate or understand the lived experiences of the people that they're helping or the clients that they're working with. So I think having this lived experience like allows me to connect to people on a deeper level that a lot of people in my profession just can't. But on a more like personal level, like on a everyday kind of basis, I think it's just made me a very resilient person, you know, very determined and committed and persistent. I had to advocate for myself from a very young age. So learning to continue to advocate for myself in the spaces that I'm in, you know, in law school, which is a predominantly white space with a lot of privilege, but then also, you know, in my everyday interactions with people. So definitely, it's made every single aspect and made me a much more empathetic person.
Absolutely amazing. Like Eve said, she could visualize it. And so can I, when you were talking, I was like, this is a movie. Absolutely amazing. And I do applaud you as well.
Thank you.
You graduated from Making Waves Academy as salutatorian. Did I say it right? Salutatorian?
Yeah. Salutatorian, yeah. Same thing.
Thank you. How did your high school experience contribute to your academic success and personal growth?
Yeah, well, Joanne knows this because, you know, we went to Making Waves together, but I think Making Waves has a very unique way of educating young kids, especially, you know, young kids from communities like Richmond. I think that, you know, in our kind of communities, we're not really taught sort of like the everyday sort of things that will allow us to succeed. But Making Waves did. For example, like I'll just give you this one example. But when I was in, I think it was like 8th grade, because Making Waves is 5th grade through 12th grade. And when I was in 8th grade, I had this teacher who she made us write all of our homework assignments on a planner. And if we didn't have our planner, we had to call home. If we didn't write our homework assignment on our planner, we also had to call home. And obviously, you know, as an 8th grader, like the last thing you want to do is call your mom and say, hey, I didn't have my planner, I'm in trouble. But it's made me extremely organized. And I rely on my planner. Like it's literally my life. And I have like 3 different planners at this point in my life, you know, like a personal calendar, a professional and academic calendar, and then just like a kind of extracurricular outside things planner, because it is important to be organized, especially when you have a lot on your plate or you're balancing a lot. It's very easy for life to get chaotic, but I think having something to ground you, which for me is just like a planner and being organized, helps. And Making Waves instilled that in me. And it was also really nice to be, you know, at a school where I was surrounded by people that looked like me. Making Waves, at least when I was there, I don't know now, but it's predominantly POC students, people of color, first gen students, low income students. And I think that, like, you know, growing up with people that had similar lived experiences as me was really nice, because once you get to college, you know, it's kind of the opposite. It's predominantly white, very few people of color, less people to relate to. So I loved growing up and Making Waves. I am still very close friends with some of the, you know, classmates I made there. So yeah, I honestly am grateful for schools, like charter schools in particular, because they have the resources to really provide for students like me.
Absolutely amazing. Are you and Joanne in the same way?
No,
but we're not that far apart.
Yeah, she was in the 12th. She's in the 12th wave. I'm in wave 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, Brenda. But we wish though.
Yes.
Brenda, you decided to pursue your undergraduate studies in political science and Chicano Ag/Latin Ag studies. I do apologize if I said that wrong. At Loyola Marymount University, and you have earned your bachelor's degree in 2019. How did these studies influence your passion for social justice and law?
Yeah. Well, I went into undergrad at LMU knowing that I wanted to go to law school at some point. So, you know, like stereotypically majored in political science, as most like pre-law students do if you don't have a pre-law program at your school. But I also knew that I was very passionate about, you know, helping underserved communities and advocating for the Latinx community. And so I decided to double major in Chicanx Latinx studies, because even though, you know, I'm Latina and I grew up in El Salvador, like there's so much history that you're not taught about where you're from. So I made double majored in both of those. And I went into law school thinking that I was going to do immigration law, which, you know, it's a perfect combination to do poli-sci and Latino studies if you want to do immigration law. But I'm still very much passionate about immigration law and I want to pursue that as like pro bono. But now I'm following sort of a different route and considering going into civil litigation at a private law firm, which I'm interning at a private law firm right now, and I'm really enjoying it. And if I continue in this route, I'll still get to do immigration work through pro bono services, which is essentially, you know, providing free legal services to underserved communities, which is why I wanted to go to law school in the first place. And I think for a long time, it felt like I could only do one, like I couldn't do both of those two things. But I'm starting to figure out ways to be able to do both, you know, do civil litigation and at the same time do pro bono work in the immigration field. So, yeah, I think, you know, LMU, especially the majors that I had, really helped prepare sort of like my mind and mentality for the practice of law. So, yeah, I wouldn't change anything about it.
Amazing.
I just want to add. I just like the fact that Brenda is going for the coins and she's going for serving her community, our community.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, for a long time, I thought those two were mutually exclusive. Like, I was like, I can't do both. I'm a sellout if I go the other way, you know, because I didn't know better. Like, I didn't know you could do both. And now that I know, I'm like, I wish more students of color knew this too, because we need more people that look like us, you know, in these kinds of spaces. So I think you need mentors. And I was very grateful to have a lot of mentors in my journey. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Shay? Is it your question or mine?
It's mine.
It's yours.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
During the 2 years between undergrad and law school, you worked as a criminal defense paralegal and participated in programs such as the MTO Diversity Fellows, Meta Legal Scholars Program, and Council on Legal Education. How did these experiences shape your decision to pursue law and your understanding of the legal field?
Yeah, I mean, I think this question goes perfectly hand in hand with what we were just talking about in regards to mentorship. I feel like one of the reasons why I was able to attend UC Davis for law school is because of those programs. So, for example, you know, the MTO Diversity Fellowship, that's a fellowship that a private law firm has in LA, which is where I was living at the time. And they essentially, you know, they pay for an LSAT prep course, which is the exam that you have to take to apply to law school. And those prep courses are really expensive. They range from like $1,000 to $2,000. And so they pay for that, which is already a huge financial relief if you're considering law school. They also mentor you through the application process. They review your personal statement, your resume, and they pair you up with a mentor who's able to give you feedback on those documents. And you also have like monthly workshops where they just talk to you about law school. They have current law students come in and talk to you. They have attorneys come in and talk to you. And it's just about the exposure. And doing that program with, you know, the additional programs that you mentioned gave me the network that I needed to know like who to ask questions to, who to go to for advice, but also the resources to be able to even apply to law school. Because it can be very expensive to apply to law school.
Oh, yeah.
You have to take the LSAT, which you pay for. You got to apply, you know, pay an application fee. You have to pay an additional fee through this website called LSAC that basically has a monopoly over like the law school admission process. So it's expensive to apply to law school. And these programs provided the resources for me to be able to do it alongside the mentorship that I needed as well.
Yeah.
Amazing. Currently, you are attending UC Davis School of Law as a 2L.
Yes.
Soon to be a 3L this fall. Can you share some of your involvements and activities at law school and how they have enhanced your legal education?
Yeah. So I went into my first year of law school, 1L, being told by everyone, like, don't get involved your 1L year. You want to focus on your academics, don't get involved. And I've always been someone who gets involved. Like, I feel like I'm fueled by my community. You can ask Jawan, like at Making Waves, I was very involved in many different clubs, and it's just been the person that I've always been. So I, didn't get involved my first semester, and I was absolutely miserable. So spring semester, I was like, I need to get involved in some things. So I started getting involved little by little. And now, I feel like I have a lot on my plate, but it's all things that I genuinely am interested in, that I enjoy and that I'm passionate about. So I'm involved in our student government, for example. My 1L year, I was the 1L representative. Last year, I was vice president. And this upcoming year, I'll be the president, which I'm really, really excited for, because I think it'll give me the platform to, create a lot of initiatives aimed at students of color and first-gen students. I'm also involved in our trial practice honors board, which is basically like our mock trial team. So we get to do like mock trial competitions in different areas of the law, which is just really fun because I'm very much interested in trial advocacy. So it's a good way to kind of get those skills going. I'm also involved in our Latinx Law Student Association, which is just a community for Latinx students where we come together and build community. Um, and I was involved in our immigration law clinic this past year as well, where we get to work with real life clients in providing them services in immigration. So that was really nice because, I was able to work directly with real people. A lot of times as a student, it can feel like a lot of these concepts are theoretical and you just kind of, they're in the abstract. But getting to work with real life clients reminds you of why you're there and why you're in law school. So I think all of these different involvements are aimed at, targeting a different skill, like mock trial, obviously my trial skills, student government, my leadership skills, the Latinx club, my community building and who I have in my network. And then the immigration clinic just reminding me of why I pursued law school in the first place. So I don't regret getting involved in anything at all, even though it can be a little hectic sometimes. But I genuinely enjoy all of these involvements. And I encourage people to get involved as well. Stay true to you. If you're someone who gets involved and that's what grounds you, do it. If you don't, if you feel like it's not for you, that's okay as well. Everyone has their own journey.
You're a doll.
You're making me blush.
Girl, you need to be on the Sherry Shepherd show.
She's a badass.
She's a hero. She's a little Oprah.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing. You are amazing.
I'm honored.
Wow.
So, Brenda, you're interning at Hanson Bridget, an all-service law firm in San Francisco. How has that experience contributed to your professional development and career goals?
Yeah. So, yes, I'm currently a summer associate is kind of a role at Hanson Bridget. And like you said, it's a civil law firm in San Francisco. They have offices all over California. And it's been really great because they provide a lot of training. Like I'm a baby lawyer, I'm actually not even a real lawyer yet, but they treat me like I'm a lawyer already. And the assignments that I get, they're for real clients. Like they're for people that are relying on our services and relying on our help. So it's been really great to be able to work with all the other attorneys, both, the associates. Associates are essentially, the more younger attorneys, I guess you can put it, like younger career-wise. And then partners who are people who, have years of experience, have built their, portfolio of clients and whatnot. So it's been really great getting to know both associates and partners and also, senior counsel and just hear about their journey to law school and to the world of law, because I'm going to be in their shoes very soon. So that's been great, like on a personal aspect, but also on a professional aspect. Like they really give you, real assignments. I have friends at other law firms that are interning this summer and, they're not getting the hands-on practice as much as I am. Like I have, several assignments I'm working on for real clients. I'm honing in on my research and writing skills, my speaking skills, my networking skills. And I'm just grateful for that because, you know, as a law student, especially during your summer, not everyone gets this kind of hands-on experience. So I think I chose the right law firm for me, for like what I need and what works for me. So hopefully, you know, I get a return offer from them, if all goes well the rest of the summer. And if all goes well and I do get a return offer, then I will be there at that firm once I graduate, which, you know, gives a lot of security as far as my career. And thankfully, we find out like pretty early on, like we find out in August, I think, if you get a return offer for after graduation. So a year from now.
Well, I'm rooting for you because I
I'm
might
rooting
need
for you too.
I might
We're
need
all
some
rooting
legal
for
help.
you.
I might catch a case.
Thank
And
you. I appreciate
congratulations.
that.
Congratulations in advance because I know you're going to get it.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you so much.
Now, Brenda, as you mentioned, you will be serving as the president of the Law Students Association. Now, I remember when we were both involved in the Brain Psychology Club back in the day, and you served as the president, and I served as a member, not an officer, but a member. Probably because I wanted to take a science class in high school when I haven't taken one. But it was such a memorable experience for me. I'm curious, did that leadership role make you reflect on your current position as the upcoming president of the LSA? And how has your past experience in club leadership shaped your approach in the leadership in the legal field?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And you just took me back to like years because I like Brain and Psychology Club, like that was something that it's crazy you mentioned it because we, you know, Making Waves is a new school and like our wave, the 12th wave, was the very first wave to graduate. So we had to like petition to start the club. We had to like find members and establish like how everything was going to function. And so it's really wild, like you even mentioning it, because I'm like, wow, that feels so long ago for me now, but it's really not that long ago. But I think honestly, and like kind of related to a question you asked earlier, I think my extracurriculars at Making Waves are really what started to shape my leadership skills. Because like you mentioned, you know, I was the president of the Brain and Psychology Club, but on top of that, like we had to create that club. So we had to advocate for ourselves to create that club. And, you know, we didn't have a student government really when I was there, but you know, I was part of like the senior committee to help plan our prom and help plan our graduation. So whatever way I could find to kind of take on a leadership role and advocate for like my peers, I did. And I think the Brain and Psychology Club in particular was like the one structured organization where I got to like really practice my leadership skills. And honestly, like from there, I've always been involved in some form of leadership. In undergrad, I was president of another club, and I was vice president of our student government. And then, you know, obviously now in law school, I'll be president of our student government as well. And so it's just, I think it was the beginning of sort of like my leadership trajectory. So yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because that's just like, I went down memory lane a little bit.
Okay. How have your background and identity influenced your journey in the legal field? What challenges have you overcome and how have they shaped your resilience?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that my identity as a woman of color and, you know, as an immigrant is really what's shaped my whole legal trajectory. But I think especially now that I'm, you know, pursuing private practice and that I'm at a law firm, I think my biggest identity of being Latina and a woman of color is like at the forefront because law firms are not as diverse as they should be. You know, thankfully, the one that I'm at is much more diverse than anything I've seen before, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in law firms in general. You know, Latinas make or the legal field is only 3% Latinx people. That's just way too small. That's a small number. It should not be that low. And so I think now that, you know, I'm further on in my career, close to graduating law school and going into the profession, I think my biggest goal, something that I'm like really carrying at the forefront, is taking steps in whatever capacity I can to diversify our profession because it's lacking people of color. It's lacking people that look like me, that look like you, that come from our communities. And so, with the privilege that I'll have now to have a seat in these tables and be in these spaces, my goal is really going to be to bring my community up with me and diversify the profession more.
Amazing. Well, outside of your academic and professional pursuits, what are some of your interests and hobbies? How do you maintain a balance between your personal life and demanding schedule? You don't have children and married yet?
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But it's something I do think about a lot, because I am getting older and I do have a partner. And so it's like, when am I going to want to have kids? When am I going to get married? Like, how will I balance all of it? Like, it is a genuine question, especially as a woman. It's very different. And I know, not so much now, but in older times, like, there were a lot of women who wouldn't pursue being a partner at a law firm because they couldn't be both a mom and a partner, and thankfully things have improved, and it's not as the profession is not as demanding, especially the firm that I'm at, but it is a consideration that I think a lot of women have to keep in mind. But anyways, hobbies. Let's see. A dog. She's great. She is my baby. So no kids, but a dog. So I like going on walks with her. We like going on hikes, exploring different parks. Since I'm in San Francisco right now, I live pretty close to the beach, which is nice. So, go to the beach when we have time on the weekends and it's nice outside, exploring different restaurants, trying out new foods, just exploring different cities. I grew up writing spoken word as well. I don't do it as often now because that one is a little bit harder to fit into everything else. But yeah, I grew up, doing spoken word pretty much up until law school. And I have my pieces that I will always keep, and cherish. I enjoy listening to it still. Enjoy listening to music, watching a lot of movies. I watch a lot of movies. But yeah, a little bit about me outside of all the hecticness.
That's excellent. I would love to hear your spoken word too. You articulate so well. You're so interested and you just put so much passion in everything you do. So I'm sure you're good.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
My next question, I think you already answered it. So I'm going to ask you another question. Do you know Crystal by chance? Crystal Callan?
Crystal. Oh my God, I'm so bad at names. Oh no. Crystal.
She was making waves.
Do you know when she graduated?
She probably graduated. Oh, I'm about to date people. So she's about 34 now.
Yeah, she went to the other maker. She went to the first.
Yeah. I went to the academy.
Making waves before that building was taken down.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I don't think I would have met her. Yeah.
Okay. That's my godchild. And she went to Making Waves. Can you do me a favor? Because I know there's some things you've touched on, and I think that we should get a description for them so people know what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Can you first tell us what the Latinx community stands for and who it includes? And then also, can you tell us about the Making Waves program?
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you asking that because I think that it is easy to kind of throw out words and, not all of us understand what certain things are, or even POC. Not everyone knows what POC is, people of color. And so it's important to describe these things. So especially when it comes to terms that are very unique, like Latinx. So Spanish is a very gendered name. There, when you say something in Spanish, you say it in a male form or a female form. So it's a very gendered language. And there, even things are gendered. So, for example, water is agua. And because it ends in an A, it's considered a female term. So you add la agua, not el agua. El agua would be for a male thing, like carro, a male thing, car. So you say el carro. So the language is very, very gendered. And there's been a big movement recently over the last couple of years to make it more inclusive for people that don't fit in that binary. So Latinx with an X at the end is supposed to be more inclusive because even the word Latino and Latina are very gendered. Latino is for males and Latina is for women. So Latinx is meant to be more inclusive of people who don't identify as either, maybe are somewhere in the middle. And so that's where Latinx comes from. And now there's a whole thing about Spanish and Latin America, but now they're actually moving towards Latine because what's happening is that like Latinx people in the US understand the term Latinx, but Latinx people in like Latin America don't. So Latine is supposed to be even more inclusive of Spanish speakers who grew up or still live in Latin America. So
And how would you
language is just
spell that?
Latine would be Latine with an E at the end instead of an X.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use Latinx more often just because that's the one I'm more used to. But I've seen a huge movement recently of people transitioning towards Latine. So trying to get it involved in my vocabulary as well. But it's really all just about making the language more inclusive.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
And then can you tell us about the Making Wave program?
Yeah. So Making Waves, it's an institution basically in the Bay Area now. It started in Richmond with the Making Waves education program. And it was basically an after school program. I have, older cousins that were a part of the education program. So Making Waves would send you for high school to a private school, and then they would bus you into the after school program in Richmond. Every day where you did your homework, you got involved in extracurriculars like theater, spoken word, music, art, whatever it may be. But then they created their own school so that they wouldn't have to keep sending students to like private schools. They were like, let's just create our own school. So they created their own school, Making Waves Academy. And it started in 5th grade. It started with just one grade, 5th grade. And then when the 5th graders became 6th graders, it was 6th and 5th, and so on until, they got to 12th grade. And so I was part of that first wave that was 5th grade. I didn't get into Making Waves in 5th grade though, because they do it by raffle. So I didn't get in. I was waitlisted essentially because they would only accept 100 students. And I think I got like 137. So when people would leave, you would come lower on the wait list. So I came off the wait list in 8th grade and went to joined Making Waves in 8th grade and was there until, I graduated in high school. But then when we graduated, since we were the first graduating class, they were like, well, how do we keep in touch with them in college? So they created the College and Alumni Program, which has now expanded beyond Richmond, and it's a Bay Area program. So if you're in the original College and Alumni Program, I guess you can say, once you graduate from the academy, they pair you up with like a mentor for the program. You have like bi-weekly calls with them. They check in on you, make sure you're doing well academically and personally. And then if you're part of like the Bay Area program, which is the newest, most expanded version of the institution, you go to college. They provide you with a scholarship to go to college. They provide you with a mentor as well. There's like workshops you can attend. It's really about like providing community and network to students in college, and obviously the financial assistance as well, because the program provides everyone with financial assistance. Like I think it's like $10,000 that they give you or something like that as a scholarship every year, which is huge. That's huge help for you as you pursue like college. So yeah, the program has expanded a lot since, like the early 2000s. And I'm sure it's going to continue expanding because it's done a lot of really wonderful things for many students.
I just found out that they were having a kickoff last time. I think it was.
I saw, yeah.
I was so mad I missed it. I haven't been to Capit in a while since COVID hit it. So, but yeah, I was so like on the inside that I missed it because I didn't even know it was happening. Like I didn't even get the email or anything like that. But I'll be ready for the next one.
Yes, exactly.
Brenda, as someone who is currently pursuing a law degree and has gone through the process of attending law school, what advice would you give to individuals who aspire to become attorneys, and what are some key considerations, challenges, or strategies that you believe would be beneficial for them to know and implement?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest piece of advice I have is to find mentors, find people who have walked the journey that you want to walk and follow in their footsteps. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's no need to start from scratch. Find mentors, follow their footsteps, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And as far as like skills to keep in mind, I think especially for people that are considering law school or becoming a lawyer, don't take for granted and writing, because that's really a huge part of the profession. You have to have strong reading and writing skills. I think my writing skills are stronger than my reading skills, so I wish I would have honed in on my reading skills a little bit more. But I think partially why I'm not such a strong reader is because, Spanish was my first language, not English. So inherently, I have a couple more obstacles when it comes to reading. But I would say really practice your reading and writing, read for pleasure if you can. It doesn't have to be books. It could be, news articles. It could be social media posts, whatever it may be. But like really train your brain to read and read efficiently, and practice your writing skills as well, because they're very needed skills. And I think something that we don't really consider when pursuing law school is that a lot of advocacy comes through writing. Like we think of a lawyer in the courtroom, right? Which, yes, like a lawyer is in the courtroom, and that's a huge part of advocacy. But also another huge part of being a lawyer is written advocacy. And we don't really know about that as much, but it's actually like 70% of your job is written advocacy, filing motions with the court, writing memorandums for the court. It's not always in person in front of a judge in the courtroom. So really practicing your research and writing skills will allow you to be one step ahead.
Wow. Brenda, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey and insights with us. It has been truly inspiring to hear about your experience and the remarkable accomplishments you have achieved. We wish you your continued success in your final year at UC Davis School of Law, and we really, really hope that you pass your bar exam.
Thank you, Joanne. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate all of you as well for chatting with me. This was really nice. You asked me some really deep questions that honestly I haven't really thought about in a while. So you helped me sort of reflect a little bit as well about my own journey and appreciate it a little bit more, because it can be really easy to forget about all of that in the hecticness of life. So thank you for inviting me, Juwan, and thank you for holding space for me, all of you. Appreciate you.
I want to say one more thing, Brenda.
Yeah.
I want to say that I'm so proud of your parents for having a dream and wanting a better life for you. And I want you to pass this on to them, that they are what the best of America is about. And that no matter what people say, no matter how cruel people are, that y'all are what America is about. My people are what America is about. And I hope that all of you, whatever your status, is that you take up space in this country of immigrants and indigenous people, and you live a good life.
Yes. Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I want to say this real quick. Huge shout out to Liaje Morris, my cousin.
Mm-hmm.
She got her, she got her, I think it was last year, but she also went to law school like you did, except it was at UC Berkeley Law. She passed her bar exam, and she's now an attorney. So huge shout out to Liaje.
Shout out to Liaje, yes.
We love you, Liaje. And
we love you, Liaje. Killing it.
And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in. We hope you found Brenda's story and captivating. Let me try to read. And to all of our viewers, thank you for tuning in. We hope you found Brenda's story as captivating and motivating as we did. We will now take a short break, but stay tuned as we have more exciting discussions coming for your way. We will be right back.
All righty. Up next, Pat Sajak, the iconic host of Wheel of Fortune, has just announced his retirement after an incredible run spanning over 4 decades. The 41st season, which will premiere this September, has been confirmed to be his last as a host. Pat Sajak joined the syndicated show back in 1981, captivating audiences with his charm and wit. In fact, his contributions to the show were so significant that he also hosted a daytime version of Wheel of Fortune. During the 80s, over the years, Sajak has been recognized for his exceptional talent, receiving 3 Daytime Emmy Awards and a well-deserved Lifetime Achievement honor. In 2018, during the show's 36th season, Pat Sajak achieved a remarkable milestone by surpassing Bob Barker of The Price is Right as the longest running host of a game show. This achievement is a testament to his enduring popularity and the tremendous impact he has had on the industry. After more than 4 decades at the helm of Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak has decided to embark on a new chapter in his life. It's a bittersweet moment for fans, most of them at least, who have grown to love his charismatic.
Charismatic.
Charismatic presence and infectious energy. What are your thoughts on Pat's decision to retire after over 40 years? How will his legacy and contributions to Wheel of Fortune be remembered?
You know, I will say that his time on Wheel of Fortune holds a special place in my heart, and it will be difficult to imagine the show without him as a host. His engaging personality and the unique energy he brought to each episode will definitely be missed. Once season 41 comes to an end, I know there will be a void left by his absence. I personally grew up watching Wheel of Fortune many times. After I finished my homework, I would watch it with my grandma whenever mom had to drop me off of her house along with my brother, and then sometimes my cousins would watch it. So yeah, alongside Pat, Vanna White has also been a staple of the show, gracing our screens for over 4 decades. While it hasn't been confirmed, I wouldn't be surprised if she also considers retiring. I mean, after all, she has played such a crucial role as the hostess, touching up letters on the puzzle board. And I have been following up on the latest news regarding Vanna White. This is according to Wikipedia, that it appeared that she is scheduled to continue as the hostess through the 2023 to 2024 season. While there has been speculation about her retirement, no official announcement has been made yet. So it would make sense for her to explore new adventures as well, but I don't want to jump to conclusions or speculate too much. We will have to wait and see what the future holds for Wheel of Fortune and its remarkable host. All I can say is that I will treasure the memories created by Pat Sajak and Vanna White, and until there is a confirmation, all we can do is hope that she will grace our screen for a little while longer. Any thoughts?
By Mr. Sajak, and as far as Vanna White, I mean, sis is making her coins turning letters. Like, why would you stop? I mean, let me turn a letter. If she retires, I want to audition to turn a letter. Turn.
What are your thoughts?
May I have an E? May I buy a vowel E? Sure can. There's 2. Boop, boop.
Yeah, it's just good that he's gone. I think there was you could tell when a host has been on too long, when they get overly sarcastic with their contestants, and in recent years, I think he's been a little bit too much. But it seemed like the contestants have gotten a lot slower on that show. Go ahead.
Could it be old age? Because I've gotten a little aggressive and a little grumpy as I get older.
Yeah,
Like every
I'm
time, like
sure.
you see all
That's
this
why
gray
I
right
said.
here.
That's why I'm saying. You could
Yeah.
tell. You could tell. I think Bob Barker was the same way. Where when it was time for him to go, he was getting a little less. He was less willing to kiss the girls and let them hug on him when he was leaving Price is Right. So I think every host.
Too much cooties going on back then. He got wise. He said, "Not no germs for me."
Yeah, he was ready to leave too. So I think it's good that he's leaving.
Come here, Ivy baby.
Wheel of Fortune will always go on. It's not like he's reading questions or anything like that. He just spin the wheel. Oh, too bad, bankrupt. He won't be missed. I won't miss him. But good luck.
I think they should get like what's her name? Meghan Markle to be the hostess.
Oh, yeah, sure. You funny.
Why not? She can. Let's get a new. We need 2 hostesses. Hope you like the topics that we touched on. Please share your opinions and comments and suggestions for improvements. I won't be reading those because, frankly, I'm just here for my nephew. So I care, but not care. Like I care, but not care. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna take nothing personal. Wherever, please subscribe. Whatever platform you listen it to. I don't know all the platforms because I was born in 1960s. What platforms can they listen this to, Mom?
You can listen it to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Prime Podcasts.
Yes.
That part. So whichever one, hit that subscribe button.